She Start is the beginning of a series of women sharing their story and resiliency. And that person right there is my little person. He is bopping around, popping around like he normally does. Yes, I am a single mother, and I am working while I'm trying to figure out this at the same time. And I really didn't believe that I could share the story of resilience without sharing part of my story with you. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I can't start this without introducing to you my tiny boss.
Hi, Mom.
Honestly didn't think that I could have him, but that's another story for another time. But this is my tiny boss, my favorite little person. This is my large intestine. How did this happen? I had 6 fibroids removed and 1 tumor. I had the operation February 16, 2022. This is my cousin, my bestie, and she always has my back. She flew down to be with me so I would have someone by my side because about 9 months before I had lost my mother. And this was my very first operation after she passed away. A couple of days after the operation, I had complications in the hospital. I was throwing up bile, and this is them sticking an NG in my nose. And that was very hard. Oh. And about 3 weeks after that, I started to have a severe pain on my left side where I had recently had the operation. I told my doctors that I couldn't feel like the left side of my... That's my son. He's 3, so you'll hear him from time to time. But I told the doctors that I couldn't feel the left side of my stomach, like it was numb. And I was told, oh, that's normal. Don't worry about it. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll go from there. I was a little frustrated and a little annoyed, but I just let it happen. I figured they're the doctors. They know exactly what's going on with my body, so this is not their first rodeo. And about 3 weeks from that time, I started to see a bulge on the left side of my body. I went into the doctor, and the doctor was like, oh, that looks like a problem. This has never happened to me before. Let's get a second opinion. It looks like a hernia.
Mommy, it's a birthday game.
I asked her, well, since you're the one who did it, can't you just go back and fix it? And she told me that's not her scope of things. So crazy was, when I was in the hospital, my operation was only supposed to be a 24 to 48 hour stay. And I ended up being there for a whole week. I didn't get a chance to spend time with my cousin. That's what I really wanted to do, because we were able to connect after my mom passed away. And at the time, my son wasn't even 1 year old yet. And he was staying with another sister friend of mine, so dear to me. And he was staying with her just so I can get taken care of. I was frustrated because it seemed like I was being passed along and that there was no true care about my overall well-being. It was like the doctor was saying, well, I made a mistake, but all right, it's not my problem anymore. You got to go to somebody else. And I'm an entrepreneur as well. And so I had already factored in that I was going to have at least a 6 to 8 week time where I wasn't going to be able to work. Well, not at least the way that I'm used to. For me, what I normally do is I'm at the farmer's market and I sell my products there. And I have to lift up my tent. I have to lift up my tables. And I also have to lift up all of my products. And that's a lot. And after having that type of surgery, that's not something that you want to do. But the cool thing is about the people that you work with at the farmer's market, at least for me, I have a really great community, and they always offered and they always helped me unload my tent, take my tent down, and get all of my products for me out of my car. And I also had a wonderful neighbor who would come down and he would take my things out of my storage room and put it in my car. So I have always been blessed with an amazing community that was able to help me. Because I had to get back to work as soon as possible. At least, yeah, as soon as possible in order for me to take care of me and my son. I was really disappointed when my doctor told me that she couldn't fix the situation that she caused. She told me it was a mixture of things. She said that it was a mixture between me having coughing, right? Because I was coughing after the surgery and throwing up. And also the timing of the repair. And at the time for me, it was very practical. So I went to the doctor. I went to the new doctor that she referred me to. And when I walked in to see that new doctor, I already knew this was not going to go well. When I walked into the doctor's office, I knew it wasn't going to go well at all, because the very first thing that I saw in his office were placards, many placards of the number one doctor in the city, the number one doctor in the county. And I enjoy when people are at the top of their class. I think it's really, really cool to see all of these awards just on your wall. But I've been around for a little while, and that comes as a catch-22, especially when you're a doctor. It took about 3 months to get an appointment with this doctor. One, because it was after COVID. And when I saw the placards, I thought, maybe it means that I'll be in great hands. Or maybe it means that I'm going to be with a full-blown. Really try not to cuss, especially when my son is around. And I used to be a former school teacher, so I know that my students will see me eventually. And out of respect for them, I don't use curse words on my platform. So y'all are just going to have to know what I'm saying without saying it. Because he repeats everything I say. He's 3. But I think I can say prick. Yeah. It was either a catch-22. He was going to be an amazing doctor, or he was going to be a full-blown prick. They called my name, and I went to the back. I waited about 20 minutes before the doctor came in. When he came in, he seemed really cool, and he asked me what my problem was. And I showed it to him, and I said, I don't know what this is. I think there's something wrong. And he said, yeah, there is. And he told me based on my MRI, I had 2 large hernias in my body. One from the myomectomy, which is the fibroid removal surgery that I just had, and the other one from my son. And then I asked him, what can be done and how fast can we get this fixed? Because I need to get back to work in order to provide for my son and I. And he told me, well, you're just fat and you need to lose 40 pounds. I said, excuse me? He said, you're fat and you need to lose 40 pounds. And I'm saying this because this is exactly what I would say to my sister. Excuse me? I was so taken back by what he said. It was how he said it. Like, what? I explained to the doctor. I said, look, doc, I lost my mother like less than a year ago. And the mere fact that I'm in this office at this very moment trying, I don't need you to criticize me about my weight. And on top of the fact that I dealt with being pregnant with my son by myself because his co-creator left me 1 month after I found out I was pregnant. I just want help. Please. I just need this to be fixed so I can get back to my life. That's all. I asked him, well, what can I do to lose the 40 pounds? Because I can't lift anything and I can't really walk because every time that I walk, it seems to get bigger and swell. And his response was, I don't know. When you lose the 40 pounds, you can come back to see me and I'll fix the hernia. man, looking back on it, it still hurts. Because it's like, you took an oath. You took an oath. And now you're going to send me out like that? And his response was, well, it's a big hernia, so, I mean, it's not going to really cause you, any complications too much. But you can't lift anything. And I'm like, that's my point. I have to get back to work. I have to lift everything that I have in order to sell my products at the farmer's market, because that's what I do. And he was like, well, that's my requirements. You have to lose 40 pounds in order for me to fix this hernia.